Everyone, it's time to head out on the highway and check out what's going on in the automotive world. And we've got a lot to get to, Les Jackson, including chip supply woes continuing. Chevy parks its pickup trucks because it can't get those chips. And Nissan and Volvo shut down their plants.
Well, that's bad news.
It is.
To say the least. And BMW has a new platform for its vehicles. It's called Neue Klasse.
Or New Class, I guess.
New Class.
Yeah. And then Nissan prices out its long-awaited Frontier pickup. You and I have been waiting for this for a long time, and I think all the automotive journalists have. It's always been a favorite, but it's going to get priced out, and the pricing is pretty aggressive.
I would assume it would be, and it's always been a great truck. Kia has a new way for you to test drive your next car. Car?
Car? What's that?
I'm not sure. I think I saw one once.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that will spread across the industry, and it's kind of history repeating itself. We'll talk about that, and it's a good thing to know if you want to buy a Kia, because this option will be available to you. We'll talk about
That's
that.
Right.
And you're going to have an at-the-wheel review, Les, of the Toyota Venza, which is one of my favorite vehicles.
I really enjoyed it.
What one did you have?
I had the, what is that one exactly called?
Was it?
The Limited in Blizzard Pearl.
Okay, and was it a hybrid or no?
Yeah, oh yes, hybrid.
Yeah, mine was a hybrid too. I was amazed at it. I got in the 30s for mileage.
Oh yeah, me too.
On the highway. So exciting stuff. Interesting too. That vehicle was sort of like a little van, and it basically morphed into a really cool crossover. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control Radio. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's all there. cruisecontrolradio.com. Les, it seems like this chip shortage is taking forever to end. Plants shutting down, vehicles stopping production. When do you think it will end? They say maybe the beginning of next year. Who knows?
I would say sometime in the first quarter.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We will be right back.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are here as always. I'm Les, he's Fred, and we, of course, have lots to talk about, starting, Fred, as you know, with the chip shortage.
Oh, yeah.
The evergreen chip shortage. And obviously the pandemic didn't shut down chip plants around the world, but it severely slowed them down.
Yeah, it sure
and
did.
You can't just put up a Quonset hut and build chips in it.
You can't make them in your bathtub, I guess.
Does not work that way. It requires hundreds of millions of dollars of very, very sophisticated equipment. I've been in chip plants. And class 100 clean rooms, which are cleaner than operating rooms.
Wow.
And that's time consuming and expensive to make.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I would definitely imagine so. Well, let's talk about some of the fallout from it, because it continues. Each week we talk about this on Cruise Control, and it continues on further. Chevy is just building pickups and parking them because they're not complete, which is not good. As Silverado sales, of course, are huge to GM, and they're just parking them. They're basically parking thousands of trucks near their Arlington, Texas plant. This is according to a Detroit Free Press report. And the same goes for Ford. I mean, remember, they were getting ahead of it a little bit, but what happened? They had that giant train crash with hundreds of F-150s. Yep. I still think, Les, they are going to go into that wreckage and recover those chips. That's what I think they will do. It's that critical. Every chip counts.
I agree. And, I mean, everybody has the same problem.
Yeah. I mean, look at Nissan, right?
Yeah. Nissan is having to idle some of their assembly lines for a while.
Yep.
And what's happening is, since companies aren't selling that many cars, they're probably just idling the car lines in favor of taking those chips and putting them on the SUV and truck lines.
Yeah, I would say so. I would think that it will hasten the end of the sedan. Just like the pandemic hastened the end of the 747, I think this will hasten the end of the sedan.
Yeah. This is just terrible.
Yeah, it is. And over in Sweden, it looks like Volvo is shutting down their plant too, their Gothenburg plant. Production will restart as soon as possible, at the latest before next week. So there is a thin supply of chips coming through, but not at the amount that manufacturers need. All this means higher prices when you go in, a lack of availability of a vehicle you want, and it's just, I think dealers going to just crank up the prices. If you want a specific vehicle, you're going to have to pay for it. So we're advising, if you don't need a vehicle, don't buy one.
That's right. It is my opinion, and it's just an opinion, that the inflation we're seeing is largely due to the auto industry.
And probably the price of gas, too, I would say, right?
Oh, yes.
Gas,
yes.
$3 plus, easy, anywhere you go. So will this square away? Well, the manufacturers say yes, but remember, what happens is where these things are built is Taiwan, and that's a volatile area of the world, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, so we really don't know when this will clear up. The manufacturers are saying early 2022, and it affects everything, too. It affects home computers. Also, there's a run on home computers, people working at home.
Washing machines,
yep.
Everything, microwaves.
Yeah. The one thing I find weird is that Ford was telling dealers, well, you can install them yourselves. These
I
are
don't.
these are not things like that right behind like the gas flap or something. They are deep inside the vehicles, and I don't think that's an easy thing to do. Do you?
I don't think so. If you're lucky, it's a plug-in, like the RAM board on your computer. But if you're not lucky, it's a hard wire, and I just don't think the dealers have that capability.
No, no. Well, hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about something new from BMW. It's called the New Class or New Class, and then Nissan pricing out its Frontier pickup. We'll also talk about a new way to test drive vehicles from Kia, and Les is going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Toyota Venza. A lot to go on Cruise Control.
You're in.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. Les, how you doing today?
Just fine, just fine. We're finally going to get a break in the East Coast heat.
That's always good. And you had a Venza to review.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear your take on that. I had that vehicle not that long ago, and I thought it was one of the best crossovers I've had in a long time.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about something new from BMW. BMW is going to continue to build internal combustion vehicles, but at the same time transition to electric vehicles. And they need a platform that can be used for both of them. And that's going to be this new class, or new class, we'll call it. It's going to underpin all future models of BMW, whether it's a crossover or high-riding SUV, or even that thing they call a sedan, Les. You remember those, right?
Yeah. Oh, I long for those days.
Well, Car Magazine, they spoke to Car Magazine, the head of BMW did, and he says between 2025 and 2035, this new architecture will come out, and it will be it will basically underpin everything in their lineup, which is pretty cool. And they are going to it's going to be very, very green. It's going to be very, very end of life recyclable. And as I said, it will underpin everything. They have to make the best platform for either electric vehicles or gas vehicles. And so it's a big platform, or is the platform of the future for the folks over at BMW. They want to have 10 million full EVs on the road by 2030 and reduce CO2 emissions over a vehicle's life cycle by 1/3. And this is going to be the basis of the whole thing, and it's going to be even the I series and whatever the 3 series will be called. So it's pretty interesting.
It is. And I think we're going to see this from all the manufacturers.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see manufacturers moving to one platform and not being, worried about multiple platforms and older platforms and newer platforms. It's basically going to be the electric roller skate, isn't it?
Right. Very, very much like a roller skate.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. That's the show you dialed into. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. It's all there over at cruisecontrolradio.com, and that is the place to go. A lot going on this week. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance is going on, Les Jackson. I'm surprised you're not on.
We're going to miss it again.
Yeah, we're going to miss it again. Exactly. But that's okay, because we got plenty to talk about, including the Silverado pickup. Of course, they can't build them right now, but the Silverado folks over at GM announced this week that Silverado will have a feature that will set it off from Ford's F-150 Lightning, and that will be that it will have availability of 4-wheel steer and 24-inch wheels. It will be based on the Ultium platform and have Silverado's proven capability. Of course, steerable rear wheels were part of the Silverado lineup a while ago, and they're making a return. But it seems like maybe Chevy is going in a little bit, how shall I say, a little bit wilder edition of the Silverado when it goes electric, as opposed to the F-150 Lightning, which I think looks the most like an F-150. Like if you didn't know better, you'd say, well, yeah, that's an F-150 pickup, right?
Well, I hope that the Silverado isn't trying to mimic the Tesla pickup.
No, I don't think the Cybertruck is trying to be anything like the Ford Lightning, but I still wonder what Tesla Cybertruck, what's going to happen with that. I really do.
Well, the word is it's a failure.
Yeah, well, that's a big failure for them, and we will have to see how that plays out. Because I think they have 100,000 orders or something like that for it. So
so they claim.
Yeah, so they claim. Yeah. So we'll have to see. But they didn't do much of a teaser for this, just a shot of a wheel, which was interesting. But rear wheel steering. Of course, over at Mercedes, they're going to do that on their EQS sedan, rear wheel steering. They're going to have a 4.5 degree and a 10 point something degree rear steering setup. And one of them will be available by subscription only. So,
Right.
so there you have it. So, hey, we got plenty coming up on Cruise Control. After the break, we're going to talk about the Nissan Frontier, which is a very cool vehicle. This is a vehicle that we waited for a long time, and it is finally here, which is good news. It's a popular vehicle with the automotive journalists, and it was the oldest vehicle in the lineup for Nissan. So we will look into that. It's very aggressively priced, which I think people are going to like when we tell them how much the price is, what the price is. I think they're going to be surprised, and it's very aggressive compared to like Ford Ranger and some of the other mid-sizers. So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
I think you're right.
You know, it's definitely going to be that. Then we're also going to talk about this vehicle. This is the Ford GT, and the Ford GT, believe it or not, the new one, is going away. This is going to be the last year of production for the incredible Ford GT. We got a couple of rumors coming up on that. They're doing the heritage version of it, white with a black stripe and a black hood, and that is going to be a collector's item for sure. There's also a rumor that they may be putting something other than a V6 in that vehicle. So we will talk about that and theorize what that will be when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Plenty to get to, Les, and I'm excited to hear about your Venza review too as well. One of the nicest crossovers I think I've driven in a long time. Great interior. It's been described as a better RAV4, and I would you agree with that?
I would. Yeah. It's a good description.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is none other than Les Jackson, and when we come back, we will get to a lot of those stories, and it is just a lot to go on the show because we're also going to talk about Kia and a test drive, a change to test drives. Most test drives are not the greatest. They're maybe about 15 minutes around a course. You're sitting with a salesperson. You may not feel comfortable, and you really don't get to try the vehicle out and live with it a little bit. Maybe take it on a shopping run or something like that. Well, Kia is going to change that. We'll talk all about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. And it's just a lot to go, Les Jackson.
It is indeed. I'll be back.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, stay tuned to Cruise Control. It will be coming right back. And when we come back, we will talk about Nissan pricing out its Frontier, which will be available very, very soon. So cool stuff on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. $740. The Frontier SV King Cab 4x2, $30,540. The Frontier King S King Cab 4x4, $31,040.
That's only $500.
I know, only a $500 difference for 4x4. Why wouldn't you get it? I would think.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, Frontier SV King Cab 4x4, $33,740. And then, there's a whole host of other models. The highest one you can get is the Frontier Pro 4X Crew Cab at $37,240. These are pretty good prices for these vehicles, and they compare nicely with things like the Ford Ranger.
Is the Pro 4X, that's not a dually, is it?
No. What you're looking at, it's the Pro 4X. It's a more capable off-road vehicle version of the vehicle. But a little bit raised up, a little bit larger wheels, black wheels, because black wheels say off-road and say heavy-duty capability nowadays. It also qualifies for the IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is a good thing. So it's pretty cool, Les. The Nissan Frontier, which is a interesting vehicle if you're looking to get into the smaller pickup truck. Remember a few years ago, manufacturers just did not want to build those because they thought, well, it's going to eat into our large pickup sales. And now it seems like everyone wants a small pickup. I think Ram eventually will bring back the Dakota, but we'll have to see. Do you think they'll bring it back?
They'll have to.
Yeah, I think they will. So, have you ever gone on a test drive for a new vehicle and you were less than satisfied, where they just took you around the block or something like that and said, okay, there it is?
Yes, I have. And at that point, I said, get out of the way. I'm getting behind the wheel and driving further.
But typically, you really can't get a feel for these vehicles during that, and you have a salesperson with you and all that. Of course, the trend is to not go into dealerships, not deal with the guys in the shiny suits and pinky rings. The trend is, let's do it all online. Nobody wants to sit there. Nobody feels comfortable doing that. So Kia is changing over to, for certain vehicles, to what they call Kia at Home experience. And test drives will begin with the Kia Carnival MPV and the Niro EV. Interested buyers go online to Kia's official website and schedule an hour-long test drive and a walk-around. And they can select which two vehicles they want to check out. If they're interested in buying or leasing one of the two vehicles, they'll be put in touch with a dealer nearby. And you get a product specialist, which is better than a salesperson. So you get a product specialist that will help you out and take you through this. Remember when GM did the overnight?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good idea, I thought, to give them.
It was that was called the puppy dog close.
The puppy dog close.
A puppy dog close, because if they give you a puppy overnight,
you're going to keep it.
They've closed the deal.
Although I'll have to say, I have a neighbor who got actually an Infiniti QX55. They were an Infiniti owner. They gave him an overnight test of the vehicle, and they hated it. By the way, I'm going to review the QX55 next hour on Cruise Control. But they hated it. It actually backfired on the dealer. He was like, wow, we really were going to order one of these, but after spending 24 hours with it, we really didn't like it. So,
well, You have to, and we learn this every week with the ones we test. We're in them for a week, and frequently it starts off great, and later on you just can't wait to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's true. The seats hurt, or whatever, and then you just can't wait to unload it. That's although you and I, most of the vehicles, we're sad to see them go, aren't we?
Um, yeah, most.
Yeah. So, hey, let's take a look at this. This is a video from Ford about well, heritage. They're coming out with a heritage version of the Ford GT. Now, the Ford GT is ending its run, Les Jackson. The Ford GT, of course, we're talking about is the high-end supercar. You have to get approved to buy it. You can't sell it. You can't flip it. And it is powered by that twin-turbo V6. I had a chance to ride in one of these over on a track at an event, and it was amazing. It really was. But they're building a heritage version of this to look like the original GT 40, and it's going to have the black stripe, the black hood. I say this is collectible before it's even born, isn't it?
Oh, this is an instant classic.
Yeah, instant classic, and will simply be snapped up right away if they're not already snapped up. Hard to believe they're discontinuing the car. I guess it's just to keep the value up. I mean, the plan was all along to discontinue it and not keep it going. But who knows? You never know what's coming down the line, do you?
Well, there's always something in the line, and with things like the GT, they and the Corvette and others, they always have a philosophy of build a legend and then repeat it.
Well, maybe they're going to do a little bit more than repeat this, or maybe they're just going to send this vehicle off big. But according to Ford Authority, they've seen a test mule driving around the Detroit area of the Ford GT with, they feel, a twin turbocharged V8 in it. Perhaps the 7.3-liter pushrod Godzilla engine. Who knows? Who knows? But we do know one thing. These heritage models will be very collectible. Hey, you're listening to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les, he's Fred, and I am going to review the Toyota Venza because I think it's a really nice vehicle. I know you've been in it, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
About a month or so ago.
Yep.
And mine is the limited version hybrid.
Okay.
Which you had the hybrid, right?
I did have the hybrid. It was pretty amazing. It got over 30. I think it got 33 miles to the gallon, if I remember correctly, on an all-wheel drive vehicle.
Right. Mine is rated for 39 overall, 40 city, 37 highway.
Maybe I think I'm confusing it with one of their other hybrids. Yeah, I think it almost got 40. Yes.
Yeah. Now mine only did about 37, but the reason it did is because we took it for a long drive out over the Shenandoah Valley, over the Blue Ridge Mountains into West Virginia, which of course is hilly.
Right.
So obviously it won't get as good mileage. Anyway, speaking of that drive, nice, long drive, which is a great opportunity to test comfort.
Yep.
And long time comfort, and how well it handles itself. You know, it rides smooth. Yeah, it's quiet. Does it stay stable and planted on the tricky roads? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like an SUV.
No, I would agree. I felt that it felt more car-like. I also thought the interior was high quality.
Interior was terrific. It was mine had a 12-inch touch screen, and a big handsome JBL sound system.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, all of the other goodies, Sirius XM. It also had the digital rearview mirror.
Yeah, what do you think of those?
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I just think that's the future.
Yeah. Did yours have the overhead moonroof that you could push a button and it could go translucent?
Yes. That's a $1,400 option.
Would you go for that option?
Personally, no.
It was cool, though.
But I would recommend, if people want a moonroof, to get that.
Yep.
I don't, like you, I don't use moonroofs. I don't open them.
It is a cool trick, though. It is definitely.
It is a cool trick.
Definitely a cool thing. I think we'll see more of that on cars in the future. I also, once again, was taken back by the quality of the interior, the seats. It felt heavy and premium in a good way.
It did. It feels like it's going to last 15 years without falling apart.
Yeah, I agree.
And I had the advanced technology package, which has a heads-up display, which, as you know, I live for.
You live for the heads-up display.
I love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah.
The premium paint, Blizzard Pearl.
Yep.
Beautiful color.
Yep.
And again, it's hybrid. It has EV, Eco, Normal, and Sport drive modes. To be honest, I never use Sport.
Okay.
It's just stiffer than it needs to be for driving.
Yeah.
But seamless. You never knew when the gas engine would cut in or cut out.
Yeah. I mean,
or the electric assist. It just seamless.
Yeah, Toyota does so well with hybrids, don't they?
Yeah. You just can't knock it. And I think yours probably was equipped the same way with the pre-collision and pedestrian detection at all speeds.
Yes, fully loaded with all
Yep.
of that. Yep.
departure alert, steering assist, lane tracing, automatic high beams, all of that stuff. You just you reach a point where you don't feel secure if you don't have it.
Yeah, you almost come to expect it, and
Yeah.
the thing is, you got to realize every vehicle doesn't have it. But when you shop for a vehicle, that is something you have to keep in mind. You have to really look at when it says pedestrian safety. What kind of pedestrian safety? When it says crash mitigation, will it take you down to 0? Will it work at certain speeds? You really have to do your homework.
You do. I don't envy people who aren't familiar with all of this stuff now trying to learn about it.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but it's important.
Yeah.
And overall, I loved it. I loved driving it. I was always comfortable. I was always refreshed, not fatigued when I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is not inexpensive.
Okay.
It's mine was $39,800 plus the options, which were $3,000.
That's pretty beefy on the options.
Pretty beefy, and the delivery fee is $11.75.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. I was watching a Graveyard Cars episode last night as I was preparing the show, and they had a 1968 car, and delivery was $86.
Yeah. I am trying to remember. Yes, when I bought my Corvette in '71, the delivery fee was like $96.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
So, anything you didn't like about the Venza, or
The only thing that I shouldn't say I didn't like it. It's just that I noticed it, and that is it has sort of heavy steering.
Which I'm a fan of. You know that.
Well, I am too, but I think smaller people might see, gee, it kind of, I have to pull on the wheel a little harder than I'd like. And also the accelerator pedal, it was designed with a heavy pedal effort.
Now, sometimes you experience that in eco mode. They make it heavier on purpose, so it's harder to push down. But you're saying it was just heavy in general.
Yeah, it was in normal mode. Again, I don't mind it, but some people may notice it. Now, of course, you can have that adjusted out.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you. I think this Venza hybrid is, quite frankly, a pretty amazing vehicle to get that mileage.
Yeah,
the quality of it, all the options, all the safety. It's one of those vehicles you can't go wrong with. It kind of morphed from this sort of station wagon, kind of chopped down minivan type vehicle to more of a premium crossover. When it first came out, I kind of felt like, well, where does this fit into the lineup? It was almost like a competitor to the Ford Flex. If you remember that, and sort of a squared off, low riding crossover, but it's really become a premium product. As we said earlier in the show, some call it the better RAV4.
It's a real it's a sleeper too. A lot of people aren't even aware of it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of people aren't even aware of it. I would recommend, as I know you would, probably getting the hybrid, because you're getting economy car MPG in an all-wheel drive crossover with lots of luxury. So there you have it, the review of the Toyota Venza from Les Jackson. Hey, don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com, where you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.